There is something strange about human nature. Sometimes a woman does not fully recognize what she has while you are standing right in front of her. You give her your attention, you give her your patience, you make yourself available. You stay through the confusion, the distance, the mixed signals, and somehow the more certain she becomes that you will never leave, the less urgency she feels to value your presence. But then something changes. You stop chasing, you stop explaining, you stop waiting, you begin walking away. And suddenly the same woman who seemed comfortable losing you begins looking at you differently. She starts wondering where you are, why you are quiet, why you are no longer trying to convince her to stay. But this is not about manipulating her. It is not about pretending to leave so she will chase you. It is about understanding what happens psychologically when access to someone is no longer guaranteed. In this video, we are going to explore 7 things that happen when you stop forcing a connection, why distance can reveal what closeness was hiding, and how Stoicism teaches you to walk away with dignity instead of desperation. If you want more videos about Stoicism, female psychology, relationships, emotional control, and becoming a stronger man, subscribe to the Stoic Psychologist. Because the moment you stop chasing her is often the moment she finally realizes you can leave. 1. She realizes your presence was never guaranteed. At first, she may not notice anything, because you have been there for so long that your presence has become part of the background of her life. She knows you will message. She knows you will check in. She knows that even after an argument, you will probably be the one trying to repair things. She knows that if she becomes distant, you will eventually come closer. And when someone becomes accustomed to receiving your presence without having to protect it, they can begin confusing consistency with certainty. You were not trying to make her dependent on you. You were simply loving her. But somewhere along the way, your love became predictable. Your attention became expected. Your patience became assumed. And she stopped asking herself what it would feel like if you were no longer there. Then you begin to change. Not dramatically, not loudly. You simply stop forcing what is no longer mutual. You stop filling every silence. You stop chasing every moment of distance. You stop trying to convince her that the relationship is worth saving. And for the first time, she feels something she had forgotten was possible. Your absence. That absence creates space. And inside that space, she begins noticing things she could ignore while you were constantly present. The conversations you used to start, the reassurance you used to provide, the attention she could always count on. The man who was always waiting suddenly has somewhere else to be, and that can create a psychological shift, because certainty often makes people less conscious of what they possess, while the possibility of loss forces attention back onto it. But understand this clearly. You are not walking away to manufacture fear. You are walking away because you have finally accepted that you cannot force someone to value you. That is the Stoic lesson. You do not control whether she chooses you. You control whether you continue abandoning yourself to be chosen. And once you understand that, the next thing that changes is even deeper. Because when you stop trying to hold on to her, you begin discovering what was happening inside you all along. You realize you were not only afraid of losing her, you were afraid of being without her. And those are 2 very different fears. 2, she feels the difference in your energy. There is a moment when she begins to sense that something about you is different. You are still the same man, same voice, same face, same life. But something has disappeared. The need, the urgency, the constant desire to know where you stand with her. Before, her mood could change your entire day. If she was warm, you felt secure. If she was distant, you started questioning everything. If she stopped replying, you became restless. You were always trying to read the room, read her messages, read her silence. But now you are quieter, not cold, not angry, just grounded. And that difference is powerful because people can feel when someone is no longer seeking permission to feel worthy. You are not trying to impress her anymore. You are not performing confidence. You are not pretending you do not care. You simply stopped making her reaction the center of your emotional world. And that changes the way you carry yourself. Your conversations become calmer. Your decisions become clearer. You no longer rush to respond just because you are afraid she might lose interest. You no longer explain every feeling because you need her to understand. You no longer chase every moment of distance, and she may begin wondering what happened. Why does he seem so peaceful? Why isn't he reacting? Why does it feel like I don't have the same effect on him anymore? But the answer is not that you learned how to manipulate her. The answer is that you learned how to govern yourself. That is what Stoicism is really about. Marcus Aurelius did not teach that you should control other people. He emphasized governing your own mind, your own judgments, your own actions, and when you stop allowing another person's attention to determine your emotional state, you become freer. She may notice that freedom. She may even become curious about it, but do not make the mistake of turning her curiosity into your new obsession. Your goal is not to make her chase. Your goal is to stop chasing. And once you genuinely do that, you begin seeing something you could never see while you were desperately trying to keep her. You begin seeing her behavior without excuses. And that clarity becomes the beginning of the third transformation. 3. You finally see her actions clearly. When you are deeply attached to someone, you can become an expert at explaining their behavior. She is distant because she is stressed. She is inconsistent because she is confused. She does not make time because she is busy. She gives you attention today and ignores you tomorrow because she is trying to figure out what she wants. You keep creating explanations because the truth is harder to accept. Maybe she simply is not giving you what you need. But when you begin walking away, something changes. The emotional fog starts to disappear. You stop looking at her through the lens of what you hope she will become and start looking at her through what she consistently does. And that difference can be painful because now you notice the pattern. You notice who initiates. You notice who makes the effort. You notice whether her words match her actions. You notice whether she only becomes interested when you start pulling away. And suddenly you begin asking a question you should have asked much earlier. Does she actually want me, or does she simply want access to me? Those are not the same thing. Someone can miss your attention without being ready to build something meaningful with you. Someone can become uncomfortable with your absence without truly being prepared to value your presence. And this is why you cannot measure someone's feelings by how intensely they react when you leave. Look at consistency. Look at character. Look at what happens when there is no fear of losing you. Because real connection should not require you to disappear before someone remembers that you matter. The Stoics valued reality over illusion. They understood that peace begins when you stop arguing with what is and start seeing it clearly. So if she only becomes affectionate when you walk away, do not immediately celebrate. Observe. Maybe she genuinely realized your value. Maybe your distance gave her clarity. Or maybe she simply does not like losing access to someone who was always available. Only her consistent actions can tell you the difference. And this is where your power returns. You stop trying to interpret every signal. You stop building your future around possibilities. You stop asking what she might feel and start paying attention to what she actually does. But once you see the pattern clearly, you face another challenge. You have to resist the temptation to run back the moment she gives you attention, because that is where many men lose everything they just learned. 4. Don't run back the moment. She comes closer. There is a moment when she notices your distance. Maybe she sends the message you were waiting for. Maybe she suddenly becomes warmer. Maybe she asks where you have been. Maybe she starts showing the attention you spent months hoping to receive, and inside you something wakes up. Hope. You think, finally, she understands. So you rush back. You become available again. You start explaining yourself again. You give her all the attention she was missing. And before you know it, the same pattern returns. She becomes comfortable again. The urgency disappears. The effort decreases. And you are standing in the exact same place you were before. This is why walking away is not enough. You have to understand why you walked away. If you left only because you wanted her to chase you, then the moment she comes closer, you will abandon the very standards that made you leave. But if you walked away because you finally recognized your worth, then her return does not automatically change anything. You observe, you listen, you watch. Has her behavior actually changed? Is she communicating differently? Is she making consistent effort? Is she respecting your time? Is she treating your presence as something valuable instead of something guaranteed? Because one emotional conversation cannot erase months of behavior. One message cannot prove transformation. One night of affection cannot establish a healthy relationship. The Stoic does not get carried away by temporary emotion. He looks at what is real. He understands that feelings rise and fall, but character reveals itself through patterns. So if she comes closer, do not punish her. Do not become arrogant. Do not make her prove herself through games. Simply slow down. Let her actions speak. And if the relationship genuinely becomes healthier, you can meet her there. But if she only wants you because you are leaving, eventually the pattern will reveal itself again. And when you understand that, you stop confusing being wanted with being valued. Because there is a difference. Being wanted in the moment can feel powerful. Being respected consistently is something much deeper. And once you learn that difference, another transformation begins. You stop measuring your worth by whether she comes running after you. You start measuring it by the kind of life you are building without needing anyone to chase you. 5. You stop needing her to choose you. The fifth thing that happens when you finally stop chasing her is that you stop needing her to choose you. And this is where the real transformation begins. Because for a long time, you may have believed that if she finally chose you, something inside you would become complete. You imagined the relationship becoming official. You imagined her finally appreciating everything you had done. You imagined the moment she would look at you and realize that you were the man she should never have taken for granted. But that moment cannot become the foundation of your self-worth. Because if you need someone to choose you before you can feel valuable, then you have already given them authority over something that belongs to you, your worth. The Stoics understood that external approval is unstable. People change their minds, people change their feelings, people leave, people misunderstand. But your character remains something you can continue building. So instead of asking, "How do I make her choose me?" you begin asking, "Is this someone I would choose?" That question changes the entire dynamic. You start looking at the relationship differently. Does she bring peace into your life? Does she respect you? Does she communicate? Does she make an effort? Do you feel valued when you are standing beside her? Or do you constantly feel like you are auditioning for a role in her life? Because you should never have to perform endlessly to earn basic affection. And when you stop chasing, you finally give yourself permission to walk away from situations that keep making you question your worth. You are no longer terrified that saying no will make her leave. You are no longer afraid that having standards will push her away. You are no longer willing to sacrifice your dignity just to keep someone close. And that is when your love becomes healthier. You can still care. You can still desire her. You can still hope the relationship works. But you are no longer desperate for the outcome. You can say, "I want you, but I do not need to lose myself to have you." That is a powerful place to stand. Because now, if she chooses you, it is a choice made between two people who both want the relationship. Not one person chasing while the other decides whether to allow it. And when you reach that level of emotional independence, something else begins to happen. Your life starts becoming full again. And the man who once spent all his energy trying to keep her suddenly has something much more important to chase: his own purpose. 6. Your life becomes bigger than her. The sixth thing that happens when you stop chasing her is that your life begins becoming bigger than the relationship. Because when you are constantly focused on whether she wants you, you have very little attention left for yourself. Your goals become secondary. Your work becomes something you do while thinking about her. Your friendships become less important. Your health gets neglected. And your future slowly becomes connected to the question of whether she will stay. But when you stop chasing, that energy comes back. You begin waking up with something else on your mind. Your purpose. You start working on the things you postponed. You begin taking care of your body. You become serious about your career. You spend time with people who actually value your presence. You start building something that belongs to you. And slowly you remember the man you were before you made another person the center of your emotional world. That man was not waiting for a message. He was moving. He had ambitions. He had responsibilities. He had dreams that existed before her. And now you are returning to that version of yourself, except with something you did not have before. Experience. You have learned what happens when you abandon your priorities for someone else's attention. You have learned what happens when you make another person responsible for your peace. And you have learned that love should add to your life, not consume it. This is where Stoicism becomes practical. Your purpose cannot depend on whether someone chooses to stay. Your discipline cannot depend on whether someone applauds you. Your peace cannot depend on whether someone understands you. You build because building is who you are. You improve because improvement is part of your responsibility. You live because your life has value beyond one relationship. And something interesting happens when you begin living this way. You become less concerned with whether she notices you. You are too busy becoming someone you respect. You stop posting for her. You stop working out for her. You stop succeeding for her. You stop trying to create a reaction. You simply live. And that is often when people begin noticing you differently, not because you are trying to become attractive, but because a man who has purpose does not need to chase attention. He has somewhere to go. And eventually you reach the final stage. You understand that whether she comes back or never returns, you have already gained something far more valuable. You gained yourself. 7. You become free from whether she stays. The seventh and final thing that happens when you stop chasing her is that you become free from the outcome. This is the moment you know the change is real. Because in the beginning, you may have walked away secretly hoping she would follow. You may have imagined her calling. You may have wanted her to regret everything. You may have wanted that moment when she finally realized what she had lost, but eventually something inside you becomes quiet. You no longer need that moment. If she comes back, you will observe. If she does not, you will continue. If she apologizes, you will decide whether her actions support her words. If she moves on, you will let her, because your life is no longer waiting for a particular outcome. That is freedom. And this is one of the deepest lessons Stoicism can teach you. You can control your choices. You can control your standards. You can control your response. But you cannot control another person's feelings. You cannot force her to value you. You cannot force her to miss you. You cannot force her to understand what she lost. And you certainly cannot build a peaceful life around trying to control those things. So release them. Let her make her choices. Let her experience your absence if she needs to. Let her decide what your presence meant to her, but you decide what your life means to you. Because sometimes walking away is not about getting someone to come after you. Sometimes it is about finally becoming strong enough to continue even when they don't. That is the difference between detachment and manipulation. Manipulation says, I am leaving so that you will chase me. Detachment says, I am leaving because I refuse to chase what does not freely choose me. One is still controlled by the other person's reaction. The other is free. And when you become free, you stop needing to be unforgettable. You stop needing her to regret you. You stop needing her to realize your value. You simply become a man who knows it. You walk forward, calmly, quietly, without revenge, without bitterness, without looking back every few steps to see whether she followed, and that is when you finally understand the truth. The greatest victory was never making her want you. It was becoming a man who no longer needs to be wanted in order to know that he is worthy. And perhaps that is the greatest lesson of all. She may only realize what you meant when you stopped standing in the same place, waiting for her to notice. But do not walk away to make her chase you. Walk away when staying requires you to abandon yourself. Do not create distance to punish her. Create distance when you need to protect your peace. Do not stop chasing because you want to become harder to get. Stop chasing because you finally understand that love should never require you to beg someone to see your value. You cannot control whether she returns. You cannot control whether she regrets losing you. You cannot control whether she finally understands what she had. But you can control what happens next in your life. You can choose discipline. You can choose purpose. You can choose self-respect. You can choose peace. And if she comes back, let her actions speak louder than her emotions. If she does not, keep walking. Because the goal was never to become the man she could not live without. The goal was to become the man who can live peacefully with or without her. That is Stoicism. That is detachment. That is strength. And sometimes the moment you stop chasing her is not the moment she starts wanting you. It is the moment you finally stop needing her to, and that is when everything truly changes.